find me on Spotify. So open your Spotify app and then find me on Spotify. My handle is EDYM428. And then you should be able to see a folder that says virtual playlists. And then once you click on that folder, we're at Virtual Yoga 9/10. That's where we are, September 10th. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. So I went hiking with my friend Stacy, and I've hiked with her many times. We hiked on a trail that we've both been on many times. Things were going great. I rounded a corner and there was this beautiful scrub oak that the leaves had turned fully red on, and there was a little bit of snow on the ground. And I thought, well, that just filled me up. So, I wasn't in a place that was new to me. Everything was, it was with a friend I've been with many times, but some combination of being with this friend, being outside, seeing the snow against the red leaves just really filled me up. There is a 19th century poet, Gerard Manley Hopkins, who refers to the inner terrain of a person as the inscape. So just as a landscape needs water and sunlight and fertilizer, a human's inscape needs to be fed. So I think if we don't over-intellectualize it, then we can really feed our inscape with what we are craving. So on our yoga mats, in our lives as yogis, we're always trying to connect mind, body, and inscape. So I'll use that word today, heart or soul or inscape. So the mind and the body we get on the mat pretty well. We get that mind-body connection. We're moving, we're listening, we're moving our right arm and left leg, or whatever it is we're doing at that certain time, we're balancing. But it can often be harder to connect to the soul or the inscape. So I want to ask you today not to over-intellectualize it too much. Don't think about it. Just allow the small miracles that come up in your practice today to feed your inscape, to feed your soul, to fill you up. And instead of doing our centering seated as we usually do, come right onto your back and we'll start our centering there. So stretch out in Shavasana. Oh, I should have told you this before you got into Shavasana. You might want to strap for our practice today. So if you have a strap or something that works as a strap and you need to get up and go get it, now's the time. And then come on back and that strap will be nearby. We're not going to use it right away, but eventually. And then make your way onto your back for Shavasana. Close your eyes here and place your hands over your heart. This location, metaphoric location of your soul, of your inscape. And just allow any feelings that come up from this place, any cravings you have for what might fill you up today, what might be your water, your sun, your fertilizer to feed your inscape. I know all of you personally now, and you all are people who give a lot. So take these moments to let yourself be filled up. Take a deep inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Be clear with your intention to be aware of the small miracles that happen in your practice, that happen in your life today, and allow those to be something that feeds you, something that brings irrigation and fuel to your inscape. And then start to blink your eyes open, stretch your arms out. If you want to play music, now's the time to press play or tap play, however things work on your end. And we'll stay right here on our backs for the beginning of the practice. Take your arms out to a T and then bend your knees. Put the soles of your feet on the floor about as wide as your mat is. And we'll exhale and take the knees to the right. And then inhale, lift the knees up. Exhale, take the knees to the left. And then go back and forth. Just follow your own breath pace. Let the movement follow the rhythm of your breath. So the first thing is to find that rhythm to your breath, and then just get accustomed to moving with that rhythm. Back and forth just a couple more times, exhaling to lower the knees and inhaling to lift. After the next time you've taken your knees to the left, lift them back up, and then plant your left foot firmly on the mat. Cross the base of your right shin just above that left knee. And then hug your left thigh in, reach down with your hands or your strap, grab around the back of your left thigh. Legs are in a figure 4 shape here, or pigeon shape. And then if it feels okay for you, you can straighten that left leg. So you're pressing your left heel up towards the ceiling as you get a little outer hip stretch on the right side. If you straightened your left knee, bend it, and then place the left foot back on the mat, releasing your hands from around your thigh. Take one breath in here, and then as you exhale, let your legs tilt over to the left. So that right foot will be on the floor, and the outside of your left leg, outside of your left ankle, outside of your left foot will be on the floor. Once you're there, stretch both arms up overhead, really especially reaching up through that right arm. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms away from your head, and try to get the back of your right hip closer to the ground. So for almost all of us, that right hip is not even going to get close to touching the ground, but you have the action of trying to lower it. And then inhale, lift your legs back up. Pull your right leg into half happy baby. So reach up with your strap or your right hand, and then pull that right knee down towards the ground. And then release, press the sole of your right foot right up towards the ceiling. So right leg is straight, take your hands behind your right leg and gently pull it in. Of course, you can use your strap here around your foot, or you can even walk your hands onto your calf or even up to your foot, gently stretching the back of your right leg. And then we'll take this little series to the second side. So plant your right foot on the ground, cross the base of your left shin above that right knee. So you're in that figure 4 shape. And then hug your right thigh in, interlacing your hands behind your thigh. Of course, you can use your strap here if that feels better. And then only if it feels okay for you, straighten your right leg, right heel pressing up towards the air, keeping that figure 4. And then release. Bend back into your right knee, right foot on the ground, unlace your hands. Reach down with your left hand, grab the outside of your left foot, and then pull the left leg into half happy baby. I forgot a piece here, so let's cross the left leg back over the top of the right knee. Take your arms overhead and then let your legs in this figure 4 shape drift over to the right.
And then interlace your fingers, turn your palms away from your head. You're trying to get the back of your left hip closer to the ground as you stretch your arms up. Okay, now inhale, bring your legs up, and then straighten your left leg. Press your left heel up into the air, either with your hands behind your left leg or your strap around your foot. Start to pull that leg in a little bit more, gently opening the back of the leg. Okay, I think we're all even now. Put the sole of your left foot down on the mat. So now you've got both feet down on the mat. Place your hands on the tops of your thighs. You might work your feet a little farther away from your hips for this, because we're going to come up into boat pose, keeping the feet on the ground to begin. So take a breath in, draw your belly towards your spine, and as you exhale, start to slide your hands up your legs, lifting your chest up, and then once you're up, you're reclining back just a little bit. Lift your feet off the ground until your shins are parallel to the ground. Keep drawing your belly down towards the spine. We'll wake it up here. As you inhale, you're going to stretch out. Stretch the legs out, lower the shoulder blades just above the mat, heels above the mat. Exhale, lift back up. So this will be our starting point here. We'll do that some more. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Move with the rhythm of your breath. Inhale takes you low. Exhale lifts you up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. This time when you inhale to lower, flutter kick, and then exhale back up. Inhale, lower, flutter kick, exhale back up. This time when you inhale, lower, separate the legs, crisscross twice, and then exhale back up. We'll do that again. Inhale, lower, separate the legs, crisscross, exhale back up. One more time. Inhale, lower, separate the legs, crisscross, come back up, and then cross your legs. Notice which shin is in front, and then just bow forward. With crossed legs, folding in. And then inhale, lift back up. You're going to keep the legs in this cross. Bring your hands just below your knees onto the very tops of your shins, and we'll take cat and cow pose here. So on your exhale, round your back like cat, look down. As you inhale, bring your chest forward, look up like cow. Again, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. One more round, exhale. And inhale. And then change the cross of your legs, put the other shin in front, and bow forward again. Inhale, lift back up, interlace your hands behind your back, pull the shoulders back, and then start to lift your hands away from the back. So try to keep your chest moving forward. As you lift your arms up, maybe even take your gaze up, and then release. So we're going to make our way to downward facing dog from here. So some of you can jump back into probably a plank or a chaturanga from here, or just get back to downward dog, however you like. Take a moment just to notice what you're feeling in your body in downward dog. Small miracles of stretching the back body here. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale, right leg back and up behind you. Bend your knee and twist open. And roll that right ankle 3 times in one direction. And then 3 times in the other direction. Inhale, stretch the right leg back, and then exhale, lower it down to the mat. Second side, inhale, lift the left leg back and up, bend your knee and twist open. And roll your ankle around 3 times one way, and then 3 times the other way. Inhale, stretch your leg back, and then exhale, lower it down to the mat. Look up to the front of your mat and start walking your feet up. Of course, if you want to take 2 big steps or 1 hop, you're welcome to do that. Eventually, we'll all meet in standing forward bend at the front of the mat. Hold on to your elbows. Just be with that sensation you feel in the backs of your legs. Just be in your body, connecting mind and body. The heart, the inscape, the soul will come online. Hands to your hips, and then inhale, rise up to stand. All right, bring your hands to your heart. Remember your intention to use your awareness to allow whatever comes up on your mat today to fuel you, to feed you, to fill you up. On your next inhale, take your arms up overhead, look up, stretch up tall. On your exhale, forward bend, fold down to your mat. Inhale, lengthen forward halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ride your inhale forward into plank, and then ride your exhale down to Chaturanga. Tops of the feet on the floor, inhale, cobra. Draw the tops of your shoulders down away from your ears and bring your chest forward, opening into the heart. Exhale, lower back down to your mat. Widen your hands out. I like to have fingertips on the ground and palms tented up away from the floor, but you can have your palms on the ground if that's more comfortable. Point your elbows up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lift into a little cobra, and then roll your shoulders, one and then the other, loosening up the muscles in your upper back, maybe across the fronts, sides, and backs of your shoulders, maybe even into your neck. If this feels good for you, let it be that connection of mind, body, and heart that fills you up. Inhale, lift up into this modified cobra, take your gaze forward, bring your heart forward, and then exhale, lower back down to your mat, downward facing dog. From downward dog, inhale, lift your right leg back and up, bend your knee and twist open. Maybe twisting a little bit more here this time. Inhale, stretch your leg back, and then exhale. Use your core to lunge your right foot to the front of your mat. Spin your back heel down to the ground for warrior 1. Root into the legs, and then inhale, rise up, lift up. Warrior 1. Opening the chest, opening the heart. This pose is a back bend intended to open across the front of your body. Interlace your fingers and then bring your interlaced hands behind your head. Press your head back into your hands. Be strong in that back leg. You might even feel a stretching across the front of the left hip. Just be with that sensation. And then keep everything you've got. Stretch your arms back behind you, a bigger warrior 1 here. Circle your arms back behind and down, and then interlace your hands behind your back. Just keep your hands there and then straighten your front leg. So you want to keep the tiniest bend in that front leg just so you don't lock it out. We're going to fold halfway forward. So think about leading with your chest. As you fold about halfway forward, take your gaze out in front of you. Sometimes when you take your gaze down to the floor, everything sort of droops to the floor. We want to keep the fronts of the shoulders lifting, so take your gaze forward a little bit, and then maybe bring your hands away from your back. So you're still interlacing the fingers, but lifting those knuckles up towards the ceiling. And then inhale, lift back up, bend back into your front knee, full warrior 1. Take your arms up overhead, lift up. Exhale, hands to your heart and twist. So bring your left arm to the outside of the right leg, twist around to the right. Point that right elbow towards the ceiling. Maybe even take your gaze up to the ceiling. And then inhale, release. Hands down to the mat. We're going to go back to that one-leg dog again. Bend your knee and twist open so your right leg is back behind you. Hug into your belly, hug into your core. Push down into your left hand and your left foot. See if you can lift your right hand off the mat. It's a miracle if you do. Maybe you get part of the hand, maybe all the fingers off the mat. Put your hand back down, stretch your right leg back behind. If you want, take a one-leg flow here. You can take a two-leg flow if you like, or just hold your downward dog. And then we'll all meet together in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg back and up behind you. Bend your knee and twist open. Roll that ankle around if it feels good, if you need some more of that. And then inhale, stretch your leg back behind you. And then you can use a little momentum, but try to use mostly core to lunge your left foot to the top of your mat. Spin your back heel down for a warrior one stance, and then push into your feet. Inhale, let the breath, let the muscles lift you up to warrior one. Think about squaring the hips up. Left hip back a little, right hip forward a little. Strong belly, strong abdomen, strong upper back, pulling you into the back bend. Interlace your fingers behind your head, and then press your head back into your interlaced hands, curling those elbows up towards the ceiling. Keep that, and then stretch the arms back and up for a bigger warrior one, bigger heart opener. As you exhale, circle your arms down and back behind you. Interlace your hands behind your back. Try to put the other thumb on top. If you don't remember, just change the grip of your hands. We have one way that's more natural than the other. And then straighten the front leg. Again, tiny micro bend there. Commit to pulling the shoulders back, and then exhale, fold just halfway forward. Take your gaze out in front of your mat to try to keep your chest more open here. And then start to lift your interlaced hands up away from your back. And then back to warrior one. Lift your torso up, bend into the front knee, unlace the hands, take the arms up, full glory here in the warrior one. Exhale, hands to your heart. Twist to the left this time, so your right arm comes across and rotate around. Maybe even take your gaze up past your top shoulder. And then inhale, release, hands down to the mat. One leg dog, so left leg back and up. Bend your knee and twist open. Recommit to strength through the core. Keep your gaze steady somewhere on your mat. And then maybe you get just lighter in that left hand. Maybe the whole left hand lifts off the mat. Celebrate that. And then lower your hand back down. Stretch your left leg back behind you. Square your hip. One leg vinyasa or two leg vinyasa, no vinyasa. Your choice what to do with these next few breaths. And then from downward dog, look up at the front of your mat and walk, step, or hop your feet up to the front. Fold over your legs. And then inhale, rise up, stand, touch your palms overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Moving on now, I see some of you taking your clothes off, starting to warm up a little bit. We'll add chair, we'll really warm things up a little bit. Chair is also called fierce pose. So admire, be with that miracle of the strength of your lower body to hold you in this squat, and the strength of your upper back to lift your chest up into a back bend. One more breath in here, exhale, forward bend. Straighten your legs, fold into them. Inhale, lengthen forward.
On your exhale, begin your vinyasa. Stepping back, you can also jump back into Chaturanga, if that's the way you like to use these breaths. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg straight back behind you. On your exhale, knee to nose, keep hugging, hugging, hugging in, and then plant that right foot right up at the top of your mat. Come up to warrior two. Spin your back foot down and open up into your warrior B or warrior two. Gaze is out past your front hand. And then straighten your front leg. We're gonna go for triangle pose. So again, when I say straighten, I mean tiny bend into that knee. You're using the muscles above and below the knee to hold it in place, not just the structure of the joint to hold the knee in place. Take a breath in. As you exhale, reach forward, and then right fingertips down to your block or the floor. Hold here. And then we'll change up triangle pose. Bring your top arm over your ear, stretching it out. Left palm facing down towards the ground. If it feels right for you, maybe start to lift that right hand up so your palms are facing each other, stretching on either side of your ears. Keep what you've got there. Inhale, lift up. Keep the arms where they are. Reverse triangle pose. So when I say keep the arms where they are, I meant on either side of your head. Inhale up, exhale, half moon pose. You can move the arms here for half moon pose. Bend into your right knee, right fingertips on the floor or your block. Left fingertips to the sky, rolling that left shoulder open, stretching back through the left leg. Half moon. It's a miracle we can stand in balance in this pose, so revel in that. And then on your next exhale, grounded warrior three. So all 10 fingertips onto the ground or blocks and square up your hips. So the front hip points are the same distance from the floor. Try to keep your left leg right where it is. Revolved half moon pose. So you're going to twist around to the right. Take the right arm, right shoulder up to the sky, trying to keep that left leg lifted to hip height. Take a breath in here, and then as you exhale, you're going to step your left foot to the back of your mat and lift up into revolved crescent pose. So left foot steps back, left arm reaches out in front, right arm is still reaching back behind, and then high crescent, both arms up overhead. Lift your heart up here, maybe lift your gaze up here. And then bring your hands to your hips, bring your back foot in about an inch and lower the heel down to the mat. Straighten your front leg. Bring your hands behind your back. So we're going for full Parsvottanasana. So hands behind the back can be here. Hands behind the back can be holding onto your elbows. Hands behind the back can be in the full reverse critter. Listen to what feels right for your shoulders, your elbows, and your wrists. Front leg is straight, a little bent into the knee, and then exhale, bow forward. Keep your gaze going out in front. Bowing over your straight leg. And then inhale, lift back up. A little back bend here once your torso gets upright. Taking your gaze up to the sky. Inhale, back up. Release your hands down, either side of the front foot. One leg dog. Lift your right leg back and up. And this time, one leg vinyasa. Or two leg to end this flow on this side. All right, friends. From downward facing dog, we'll go right into the second side. Inhale, left leg back and up behind you, hips are square. Exhale, knee to nose. Keep pulling that knee in, and then kick your foot down and plant it between your hands. Come up to warrior two. Root into the back foot fully, and then rise up into your warrior two. Gaze out past the front hand. Take a moment to feel your body, feel the strength, the heat that you're creating. Maybe that fills you up. And then straighten the front leg for triangle pose. Strong core here as you inhale and lengthen forward, and then left fingers touch down on your block or on the ground. And for now, right fingers reach up to the sky, maybe even twist and look up past your right hand. Start to bring your right arm over your right ear, right palm facing down. And then only if it feels right for you, start to lift that left hand off the ground. So your arms are on either side of your head, palms facing each other. As you inhale, lift up. Keep the arms by the ears, reverse triangle pose. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, begin your movement forward to half moon pose. Bending into your left knee, planting your left fingers on the floor or a block, and then lifting the right leg to hip height, the right hand into the air, the right shoulder pulls back. There's a twist involved in this pose. It's also a balance pose where you're really stretched out. Just allow yourself to marvel at what you're able to do here. And then on your exhale, grounded warrior three. So 10 fingertips to the ground, square your hips up, right toes are pointing down towards the ground, and that right leg is lifted to hip height. Make sure your belly is strong and turned on. Sometimes in a slight forward bend, the belly sort of goes to sleep, so wake it up. And then revolved half moon pose. So you twist to the left, lifting the left side body, the left shoulder, the left arm up to the sky. Try to be aware of what that right leg is doing and where it is in space. Take a breath in here, and then exhale, step your right foot to the back of your mat. Revolved crescent pose, crown of the head, reaching up for the sky. Right arm out in front, left arm back behind. And then high crescent pose, both arms up overhead. Be strong in that back leg, maybe lower your hips down just a little bit. And then hands to your hips. Bring the back foot in about an inch, lower the heel down, and then straighten the front leg. Parsvottanasana, or pyramid pose. Bring your hands behind your back to the place that just works for you. Don't allow yourself to go into the red zone of pain here. We are trying to stretch and open the shoulders, maybe the wrists, but not get into pain. Take a breath in, and then exhale, bow forward, keeping the chest broad. Take your gaze out in front a little bit. There's nothing wrong with looking straight down, but often when we do that, we let the body sink down. And then sometimes looking out ahead will keep the chest open here. Inhale, lift back up, release your hands down to the mat, one leg dog. The left leg is the leg that lifts, and you take your one leg vinyasa here. In your downward dog, take a big inhale through your nose, blow it out through your mouth. And then bring your feet to the top of your mat. Stand in forward bend. And then we've got, so I'm going to say this is the last chair pose, but we are going to be in a pose that's sort of similar to chair later. But this is the last full-fledged chair pose, only two of them. Lower your hips down, lift your heart up, hug the belly in, lift the chest a little bit more, and then stand straight up, straight legs, and then take a little back bend here. If you want support in your back bend for your low back, you bring your hands to your low back. If you want support for your neck in your standing back bend, you interlace your hands behind your head. And then inhale, back up, exhale, hands to the heart. Let's move on. Take a moment here just to notice how your body feels, to notice that if you're still keeping a rhythm to your breath, to notice if your inscape is being filled up through the practice. There's still plenty of time if not. Inhale, lift up, look up, exhale, widen the arms out and down in a big circle, fold in. Inhale, lengthen forward, take your vinyasa, whatever that means to you. It could mean stepping back to downward dog and breathing, or you could flow through vinyasa however it feels good. And then from downward facing dog, inhale, right leg, backing up behind you. We're gonna bend the knee and twist open again. Get a little bit lighter into the right hand. And if it feels right for you, flip over here, lowering your right foot down off the left side of your mat, lifting your hips up, taking your head back in a 3-pointed back bend. And then inhale, come back around to one leg dog. And then lunge your right foot to the top of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips, bring your chest upright. We're gonna come into a standing pigeon pose. So when I said we had a pose that was sort of like chair, this is it. Standing pigeon pose, hands to your heart. So I should have told you before we got into the standing pigeon, but you might want your strap for this one. So I'm going to turn to face you just so you can see what's happening here. We're in the standing pigeon. I'm going to bring my right hand to my right hip and my left hand to the outside of my left foot. So you might want the strap around the foot instead of your hand. We're going to stand up, left knee pokes out to the side, and then press that left heel forward. This is called hand to big toe pose or hand to foot pose. So we're going to come down to a seat on our mats. You can do it in sort of a pistol squat fashion if your knee and your ankle allow it, maybe stretching your right arm out in front and slowly lowering down or coming down however it works for you. And then we'll fold forward. We've got the left leg straight and the right knee bent. Okay, inhale, lift up. With your right hand or your strap, you're going to grab around the outside of the right foot. Place your left palm on the top of your left thigh. We're going to recline here, bringing this right leg back with us. So your abs put on the brake as you recline back. So we're in half happy baby. Right leg is in half happy baby. Left leg is straight and on the mat. Take a couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're going to straighten that right leg. So strap around the foot is helpful here, or maybe hand is somewhere on the leg. Think about this as splits on your back. And then take your right leg out to the right. On an inhale, bring that right leg back up. So you're still holding on to the foot or your hand. There's a strap between your hand and your foot. We're going to come up to a seat here. So you might watch me. We're going to do it in 3 tries. Left hand on the top of the left thigh. You're going to have to use core strength and back of the right leg strength. So you'll take a breath in and exhale. Lift up a little bit. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, lift maybe a little bit more. Inhale, back down. If you need momentum, you can bend that left knee, right knee a little bit and use a little momentum to help you. Last time, exhale, lift up. We did it, it's a miracle. Bend your right knee. Left hand holds onto the sole of the foot. We're going for an arm balance here. Right arm comes under and you work that right leg as high as you can on your right arm or shoulder. Ashtavakrasana, or 8-limbed crooked pose. Bend your left knee and hook your left foot on top of the right. Flex at the ankles so that your feet will hold here. Squeeze your elbows in, lean forward, and then on an exhale, push your feet out to the right. As you take your gaze forward, you have to bend those elbows just like Chaturanga. And then lower back down. All right, so from here, we're sort of at the front of the mat in sort of a cross-leg position. It's possible to jump back into Chaturanga from here. So some of you have, I know some of you have the core strength to plant your hands and lift your hips up and shoot back. I don't have that, so I'll show you how I shoot back to Chaturanga from here. I'll show you in slow motion and then I'll do one fast. I plant my hands. I have to rock forward onto my knees here. And then I'm gonna push the tops of the feet into the floor to lift my knees off and give my hips room to shoot my feet back. So that was slow, and then I'll show you if you get a little momentum going. Plant the hands in front, rock onto the knees, shoot back. If your knees and your ankles feel good, maybe try that. If not, just give yourself back to downward dog. From your downward dog, inhale left leg, back and up behind you. Bend your knee and twist open. First option is to stay right here with the twist and downward dog. Second option, turn on the core. Get lighter into the left hand, maybe lifting the left hand off the mat, and then maybe flipping over, taking that left foot off the right side of your mat. There you go, you're looking good there. Inhale, come back around, one leg dog, and then on an exhale, lunge your left foot to the top of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips, bring your torso up. So here, we'll go into that standing pigeon pose again. It's a little like chair, but not quite chair. So stand on your left leg, cross your right, just above your ankle, above your left knee. Bring your hands to your heart and lower your hips down and back. We'll stay here for a few breaths, working on our balance and a hip opener at the same time. And let that small miracle of standing balance and hip opening, and there's also a back bend component happening here. Just let that sink in, let that feed you. So you might want your strap now. Take your left hand to your left hip, right hand or strap wraps around the right foot, and then bring yourself upright. And then when you're ready, you press that right heel out in front of you. Hasta Padangustasana, hand to big toe or foot pose. And then we're going to come down to a seat here with a straight right leg and a bent left knee. So you might be able to do it lowering down, pistol squat fashion. It can help if you get a little counterweight by taking the left arm out in front. There you go. All right, and then fold inside that left knee, folding out over the right leg. Of course, you can use your strap around your right foot here. And then inhale, lift up. So with your left hand, grab your left foot and pull your knee back. Right palm is on the top of the right leg. So your core puts on the brakes as you lower back to half happy baby. Try to slowly descend back into half happy baby. Left hand holding on to the left foot. We'll take a couple of breaths here. And then start to straighten your left leg. So you may have a bend into your knee, you may have a strap around your foot, your hands may be on your thigh or around your calf or ankle. But think about this as reclining splits. And then take your left leg out to the left. And then finally bring the left leg back up. And we'll try 3 times to lift up to a seat. So a little momentum helps, but see if you can use your core to lift up. So right palm is on the top of the right thigh. Take a breath in. As you exhale, curl up a little bit. Inhale back down. Exhale. See if you can lift a little bit more. Inhale down. Last time. Lift all the way up to your seat. And then we'll take the arm balance, 8-limbed crooked pose on the second side. So bend your left knee, pull the knee back, and then hold the sole of your right foot, left foot with your right hand. Bring your arm under and inside. You're just trying to work that left leg up onto your left shoulder or upper arm. Once you're there, you use the inner thigh to keep the leg in place. Plant your hands about shoulder width distance apart. Fingertips are pointing forward. And then now that you're leaning forward, you're going to bend that right knee and then hook the right foot on top of the left foot. Some people do this with the right foot underneath. I think it's really hard to hold it there. Here, you can just even rest that right leg on top of the left. Squeeze the elbows in, look forward, then think about pressing your left leg down onto your left arm, shooting the feet out to the side, lifting up through the belly, looking forward. Good. All right. Does anybody want to shoot back to Chaturanga from here? No, is what I'm getting. Okay. Come on to all fours on your mat. Just one time on each side, we're going to go for the splits. So from all fours, bring your right foot up between your hands. And then we're going to straighten that right leg. Tiny bend into the knee. You might have your hands on blocks here. And then as you exhale, bow forward. So this pose is traditionally called half splits. or Ardha Hanumanasana. If you feel that you have the room, we can go toward what's called Hanumanasana, or the full splits, by picking up the back knee and walking it back a little bit and pushing the front foot forward. So you do those two things. Back leg reaches back, front leg reaches forward, back and forth, until you get to the place that feels like this is a miracle that my legs are this far apart. And just be there. And then we will lift back up on an inhale and then change sides. You can go through hands and knees, or if you need a downward dog, you can go through downward dog. And then we'll put the left foot up between the hands. Maybe hands are on blocks, that can be really helpful here. And then we start to straighten the left leg, so the back of the heel is on the ground. And then try to fold over that straight leg. If that's plenty for you, stay right there. We're again just trying to open up the back of the leg and revel in, feed off of just an everyday miracle of being in splits as adults. If you want to do more, if you feel like your body is ready for more, you can lift that back knee up, walk it back a little bit, press the front foot forward a little bit. So just a little at a time, pausing and listening as you go back and forth, until you get to the place that you feel that you are pushing your envelope but not ripping it open. And then we'll use an inhale to come back up onto hands and knees or downward dog. And then make your way onto your back. We're almost there, friends. We've got 2 back bends, a little bit of recovery work, and then back to Shavasana. So come onto your back. Our 2 back bends are going to be 2 one-legged bridge poses. So you can do the traditional bridge pose and lift one leg up, or you can do a bridge pose where you have a block, a supported bridge pose where you have a block underneath your hips. So decide sort of where you are in your practice, what you're ready for here. Block under the hips or not. If you're going for the traditional bridge pose, plant your feet, push down into your arms. Think about pushing down into your arms in the back of your head so much that your chest lifts a little bit here. And then we'll all get into our version of bridge pose. Both feet on the ground to begin, lifting the hips up or block underneath the hips. Walk your left foot a little bit closer to your right foot. Push down a lot into the left foot. Hug the right knee up towards your chest, and then press the right heel up to the sky. Try to lift the hips a little bit more by pressing down into the arms. And then release your right foot down to the ground. If you're in bridge without the block and you need to come down and take a break, do that. And then lift back up. Otherwise, if you're still lifted, walk your right foot a little closer to the left. Pull your left knee in towards your chest, and then press that left leg straight, lifting your left heel into the air. And then lower your foot back down, lower your hips down. If you were using the block for those bridges, take the block out of the way. Take a moment just to let the effect of those back bends sink in. Tune into your inscape now, your heart, your soul, your interior terrain. And just notice if you've begun to get that connection of body, mind, and heart. Hug your knees into your chest and rock across your back.
Keep the knees hugged in. Take your arms out to a T. As you exhale, take both knees over to the right and take your gaze to the left. If you've been doing some breath work or pranayama throughout the practice, let that go and just let your natural breath set in. Inhale, bring your knees up. And then as you exhale, take them to the left. Take your gaze out past your right hand. Let your body be heavy here. And then inhale, bring your knees up. Give them a squeeze in. Maybe even bring your forehead up to your knees. And then inhale, stretch out on your mat, back to Shavasana. Turn the palms up this time towards the sky.
Once you've settled into your pose, take a deep inhale through your nose and a big exhale through your mouth. Tagore said, "The stream of life that runs through the world runs through my veins." So feel that connection of mind, body, and inscape or heart or soul. And also feel that connection of your connected being to the river of life all around you. Start to open your breath up a little bit by Taking in a deeper inhale and a nice long, slow exhale. Begin to move your body. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, roll your wrists and your ankles. Whatever micro movements feel good here, begin to add those in. Stretch your arms overhead, and then on an exhale, roll to your side and take a moment here to honor yourself for carving out the time to create a mind, body, and inscape or heart connection. Honor the small miracles in your life that fill you up, that help you feel connected to the river of life all around you. And then as you're ready, bring yourself up to a seat. Once you're in your seat, close your eyes and join your hands together at your heart. I hope as you go through your day, you will continue letting the small and large miracles of life feed your inscape, feed your soul, and help you feel connected to not just the different aspects of your being, but to those around you. Let's take a few moments, a few breaths, just to send our collective energy out to all of those who are in need today. Namaste. Thanks for being with me, everybody. Thanks for coming.